Have you ever noticed how one leaked clip can completely change the conversation surrounding a celebrity? Sometimes it only takes a few seconds of audio for the internet to explode with theories, accusations, and endless speculation. That's exactly what happened when an alleged phone call, claimed by many online to involve Sean Diddy Combs and his son, Christian Combs, began circulating across social media. Within hours, millions of people were analyzing every sentence, every pause, and every word, trying to uncover what they believed was a hidden meaning. But here's the important question. Was the conversation really as revealing as people claimed? Or did social media simply do what it often does, fill in the blanks with speculation? Today, we're breaking down what actually happened, what has been confirmed, and why this story has become much bigger than one leaked phone call. Before we begin, it's important to separate verified facts from online rumors. The allegations surrounding Diddy are part of ongoing legal proceedings, and many claims circulating on social media have not been verified by investigators or established in court. Throughout this video, we'll focus on what has been publicly reported, while clearly identifying where speculation begins. Now, let's get into it. The story gained fresh momentum after audio surfaced online that users claimed featured Diddy speaking with his son, Christian Combs. The recording spread rapidly across TikTok, X, YouTube, and other platforms, quickly becoming one of the most discussed celebrity clips of the year. Several parts of the alleged conversation immediately caught listeners' attention. References were made to pizza boxes, recycling plastic, and someone referred to as Jay. Almost instantly, social media users began assigning hidden meanings to these phrases. Some claimed they were code language, while others suggested they hinted at something much larger involving powerful people in the entertainment industry. However, it's important to emphasize that there is no verified evidence that these phrases were code words or that they referred to criminal activity. At this stage, those interpretations remain internet speculation rather than established fact. Even so, the timing of the alleged leak made it impossible for many people to ignore. Diddy was already facing intense legal scrutiny, and public interest surrounding the case was growing rapidly. Because of that, almost every new piece of information, whether verified or not, was immediately pulled into the larger conversation. As more people listened to the recording, another major question began dominating discussions online. If investigators are examining Diddy, could that investigation eventually extend beyond him? That single question has fueled countless debates over the past several months. For decades, Diddy has been one of the most connected figures in entertainment. Throughout his career, he has attended award shows, charity events, business conferences, political gatherings, and celebrity parties alongside some of the biggest names in music, sports, film, fashion, and politics. Photographs exist showing him with world leaders, award-winning actors, Hall of Fame athletes, influential business executives, and internationally recognized musicians. Those public appearances are well documented and entirely unsurprising given his decades-long career. Still, as investigations continue, many people online have begun revisiting those old photos, asking whether any of them hold greater significance. Legal experts, however, caution against jumping to conclusions. Being photographed with someone, or even attending the same event, does not suggest involvement in criminal activity. Public figures frequently appear together at premieres, galas, award ceremonies, and charity functions without having any personal relationship beyond those events. That distinction is easy to lose on social media, where images often circulate without context. As online discussions intensified, another major event pushed the story back into headlines. Federal authorities executed searches at properties connected to Diddy in Los Angeles and Miami. Images of law enforcement outside the homes quickly spread across television broadcasts and social media, leading many people to wonder what investigators were searching for. Almost immediately, theories began circulating. Some users claimed authorities were searching specifically for electronic devices. Others suggested investigators were looking for recordings. Still others argued the searches were aimed at uncovering evidence involving additional individuals. The truth is much simpler. Authorities have confirmed that searches took place, but they have not publicly disclosed the full scope of everything investigators were seeking or recovered. Because of that limited information, much of the discussion that followed has been driven by speculation rather than verified facts. Former prosecutors and defense attorneys have also weighed in publicly, explaining that searches of this nature often involve collecting both physical and digital evidence. They note that investigators frequently avoid revealing details during active investigations because doing so could compromise future legal proceedings. That uncertainty has left a vacuum, one that social media has eagerly filled. Meanwhile, several commentators, podcasters, and former associates of Diddy have shared their own theories about what investigators might be examining. While these opinions have generated millions of views online, it's important to remember that commentary is not evidence.
As of now, many of the broader claims circulating online remain unverified. Despite that, public fascination with the case continues to grow. Why? Because people sense there may still be pieces of the story that haven't yet become public. Whether those assumptions turn out to be accurate remains to be seen, but the uncertainty itself has become one of the biggest reasons this case continues dominating headlines. And that's only the beginning, because in the next part of this story, attention shifts away from the investigation itself and toward the people who have begun making dramatic public claims about what they say happened behind closed doors. Some insist they possess important evidence. Others claim to have first-hand knowledge of events that investigators may be examining. But how much of it can actually be verified? That's where this story becomes even more complicated. If there's one thing that's become clear throughout this story, it's that the investigation itself isn't the only reason people keep paying attention. Just as much interest has been driven by the growing number of individuals who have stepped forward claiming they know what happened behind the scenes. Some say they witnessed events firsthand. Others claim to possess documents, recordings, or information they believe could become important. But separating first-hand testimony from opinion and verified evidence from unverified allegations is where this story becomes especially complicated. One of the names that has drawn significant attention is Courtney Burgess, who has publicly stated that he possesses materials he says are connected to Diddy. Burgess has also said he testified before a federal grand jury after receiving a subpoena. While the fact that someone testifies before a grand jury can be newsworthy, it's important to understand what it does and does not mean. Grand jury proceedings are generally confidential, and the public rarely knows exactly what evidence was presented or how investigators evaluate a witness's claims. Burgess has made several public statements, including claims that he possesses writings he attributes to the late Kim Porter and that he has seen or has access to other materials connected to the investigation. These claims have received widespread attention online, but they have not been independently verified, and no court has publicly confirmed the authenticity of the materials he describes. Even so, interviews with Burgess spread rapidly across social media, where clips were viewed millions of times. Supporters argued that his willingness to speak publicly suggested he had credible information. Skeptics, however, pointed out that public claims are not the same as courtroom evidence. Until documents are authenticated or introduced through legal proceedings, they remain allegations rather than established facts. Burgess isn't the only person whose comments have fueled public interest. Another frequently discussed figure is Gene Deal, who previously worked as one of Diddy's bodyguards. Over the years, Deal has appeared in numerous interviews discussing his experiences in the music industry and his time working around Bad Boy Records. Since the recent investigations began attracting headlines, many of his interviews have resurfaced online, with viewers looking for insight into Diddy's past. In those interviews, Deal has shared his personal opinions about how he believes the investigation could develop. He has suggested that additional witnesses may eventually be interviewed, and that more individuals connected to Diddy could come under public scrutiny. It's important to emphasize, however, that these are Deal's opinions and allegations, not confirmed findings from investigators. At this stage, authorities have not publicly announced the broader conclusions that some commentators predict. Still, one aspect of Deal's comments has resonated with many observers. He argues that large federal investigations often move slowly, expanding one interview at a time rather than all at once. Legal analysts generally agree with that broader point. Complex investigations involving numerous witnesses can take months or even years as prosecutors review evidence, conduct interviews, and determine whether additional charges are appropriate. That gradual pace helps explain why so many people continue watching this case closely. Every court hearing, filing, or public statement is examined for clues about what investigators might do next. Adding to the public conversation are comments from legal experts who have appeared on television and podcasts to explain how federal investigations typically work. Many have noted that search warrants and grand jury proceedings often represent only one phase of a much longer process. In some cases, investigators interview dozens of witnesses before deciding whether additional criminal charges are warranted. In other cases, investigations remain focused on a single defendant despite widespread speculation. Because those decisions happen behind closed doors, it's common for online discussions to race ahead of what has actually been confirmed. That difference between speculation and evidence has become one of the defining features of this case. Social media rewards speed. Courtrooms reward proof. Those two worlds rarely move at the same pace. As a result, every rumor, leaked clip, or anonymous claim can quickly gain traction online, even when investigators have said nothing publicly to support it. Another topic that has repeatedly surfaced involves reports that investigators may have recovered digital evidence during searches of Diddy's properties. Online discussions have included speculation about surveillance systems, electronic devices, and recordings. While prosecutors have referenced certain forms of evidence in public filings, many of the more sensational claims circulating online remain unverified. Authorities have not publicly confirmed many of the details that internet users frequently discuss. That uncertainty has created an environment where theories continue multiplying faster than verified information becomes available. Legal experts cautioned against assuming that every rumor reflects the facts of an active investigation. It's not unusual for high-profile cases to attract misinformation alongside legitimate reporting, especially when public interest is intense. The challenge for viewers is deciding which sources deserve confidence. Is a viral social media clip enough? Should interviews with former associates be treated as evidence? Or is it better to wait for documents filed in court and statements made under oath? Those questions have become almost as important as the investigation itself. For now, many of the answers remain unknown. What is known is that federal proceedings continue, and investigators have indicated that aspects of the case remain active. Whether additional witnesses, evidence, or legal actions emerge will ultimately depend on what prosecutors can establish, not on what trends online. And that brings us to the next chapter of this story.